Hi! Are you trying to improve your foreign or native language skills or maintain your language skills? If so, this video is for you. Keep watching. Hi guys, welcome to this edition of Study Saturday here at International Yankee English. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today's topic is the top 5 things that you need to do in order to improve your language skills. Now, normally I focus on English only, and I do have English in mind when I talk about these things, but all of these things can also be applied to other foreign languages or even your own native language. Just because you are a native speaker of a language or because you have a shiny C1, C2 certificate in hand saying you are a proficient user of a certain language, or even maybe a master's or PhD degree in a language, it doesn't mean that you cannot still improve. We are always learning and always improving in both native languages as well as non-native languages that we speak and use on a daily basis. Since language is always evolving, we are never done learning a language. We are always continuing to learn new things and improve our language skills. So since you never stop learning a language, here are my top 5 things to remember when you're learning a language. Number 1, know your strengths and weaknesses. Have a look at your current reading, writing, speaking, and listening skills levels. There are many different tests that you can take online. If you're not sure where to go, then write a comment below and I will point you in the right direction. After you have ascertained what level you currently are at in the language that you are trying to improve, have a look and decide where your weaknesses are. For example, let's say that you have difficulty writing business emails. Then you need to find out what you need to do and how much time and energy you're willing to spend on improving your business email writing skills. Short, intense courses, or sometimes called crash courses, can help you to learn a lot in a short amount of time. However, research over many years and many different studies have shown that information that you study leaves your brain almost as quickly as it came into your brain if you're not continuing to study and maintain the information that you crammed into your brain. So it's important that if you take an intense course, you have a plan for how you're going to maintain those skills and try to focus on integrating that and making it a lifestyle choice of learning. That brings us to number 2, set realistic and measurable goals. If you decide in May that you want to begin a new job in a foreign country in September, and you want to study very hard over your summer break in order to go from absolute beginner to proficient user in a business setting, that's not going to go so well. This may be your dream job, which means that you have sufficient motivation to achieve this. And we all know that motivation is a huge factor in learning a language successfully, but it's not the only factor. It is not realistic to put that level of pressure on yourself, and once you don't reach that high bar, that high standard that you set for yourself, you will now become demotivated, and that main factor that you had that was going to help you learn your language quickly is now gone because the motivation has lessened when you haven't achieved that high goal that you set for yourself that was simply unrealistic. What's an example of a realistic goal? Well, let's say that you have just begun a 2-year MBA, Masters of Business Administration program, and your goal is to get up to a proficient business English B2, C1 level at the end of the 2 years. Well, then you can set a specific goal with little steps to get you to the final goal over those 2 years. Let's say that your English and your grammar, your writing is quite high, but you don't have the business vocabulary that you need in order to enter the workforce. Then you may set a goal for yourself to learn somewhere between 50 to 100 new vocabulary words every month. Start a journal and spend a certain amount of time each week, a little bit every day, and build up the journal. And remember to take time at the end of the month to review the words that you've learned. Also, every other month, maybe you take a break from learning new words and you practice revising the words that you have already learned. This way, you have consistent learning over a realistic amount of time, so that by the time you graduate with your 2-year MBA degree, you can actually enter the workforce with a strong, solid vocabulary that you really have ingrained in your memory and mind, and that you can use effectively without any help and spontaneously in a meeting or a discussion with a colleague. You don't need to sit there and think about it. Number 3, use it or lose it. As mentioned in number 1 and 2, consistency and review are essential parts of learning and maintaining language skills. You want to try to find a way to continue practicing and learning. Never stop learning. You cannot realistically afford to be enrolled in an intense English course for the rest of your life. And you also don't want to be dedicating a huge chunk of your day to learning every single day for years on end. But what you can do is establish which ways of learning you like, and also which areas need the extra work, and try to integrate that learning into your daily life. So it may be that you read your news in the target language. So if it's English or say German, that you read 2 to 3 news articles of approximately 1,000 words every single day in that language. Or maybe your pronunciation is not the best. Then you can use a language learning app. And there are many different ones out there. There are so many different things that you can do. If you are a bit unsure where to go, you can always contact me and I will be happy to give you some further advice on your learning. Number 4, learn vocabulary and grammar in context. We all know those big, thick grammar textbooks and those drilling exercises that our teachers had us do when we were younger, and also the rote memorization, memorizing certain verbs and certain endings, certain tenses. For some people that works great, but at the end of the day, you need to be able to actually use and communicate with your grammar and your vocabulary. So it's important to learn these things in context. One way to learn things in context is through reading. So of course you can do a bunch of different grammar exercises in a grammar exercise book, but to understand how a natural business report or news article or fantasy novel will use the vocabulary and the grammar that you want to learn, reading is king. Sorry for all of those people who want to learn simply by watching TV. You're not going to process the information by only hearing it as well. You can always put subtitles on, that's a good trick, but it's still not quite the same as when you're 100% consumed by the words on the paper and the sentences and the story that you're reading. So reading and learning in context is extremely important. Number 5 is to minimize the amount of translating you do. I know sometimes it's very tempting to simply look up what a word is in your own language, your native language. But the problem is that the nuances and the context in which a word is used in the target language can vary from how it is used in your first language. So you want to try to avoid too much back and forth from your L1 to your target language, the language that you are trying to improve. Now, you can easily get lost in translation by translating the target language into your native language. So we want to be mindful of not doing that too often. Yes, sometimes you need to look up what a word is in your own language, or you need to look up some of the grammar rules explained in your own language in order to make sense of it in the target language. That's totally acceptable, fine. However, you want to make sure that you're not doing that 2 times a minute. That's just too much. You need to try to focus on learning and immersing yourself in the target language as much as possible, because different words and different contexts and constructs are used in the language you are learning. That is why it isn't the same as your language. They're not the same language. So you want to try to learn as much as possible in your target language. Okay guys, that is it for you today. I hope that you have enjoyed this. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I will leave my email in the description box as well as in my pinned comments. I am in the process of starting my website. I've been building it and I've been working on some great online courses for you guys. So I will make an announcement within a few weeks about the International Yankee English online community and online courses. I already have a private Facebook group for my subscribers. If you cannot find it, just contact me and I will help you find your way there. But I'm very excited for the online courses that I am making for you guys, and I'm really looking forward to sharing that with you. I will make an official announcement video about the International Yankee English developments very soon. So thank you guys as always for watching, and I will see you on Monday for more on Monday. Bye!